It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loop machine.
Welcome back to another BCSN conversation. Our preseason basketball forecasting continues with Lincoln, the real Lincoln, Pennsylvania, being his head basketball coach, Corey Lowery, who is in his first season at Lincoln University. He's been coaching 22 years overall. He spent 10 of those years as a head coach on the junior college level. So good afternoon, Coach Lowery. How are you doing? How's the family? How's everything going on campus there for you?
Everything's going great, man. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm very appreciative of the opportunity, but things are going very well. Family's healthy, so thank God for that.
All right. Now, you're in a very unique role. Obviously, COVID has impacted everybody throughout the nation. New head coach. Obviously, as a new head coach, you have your own philosophies and systems that you're bringing to Lincoln University. You've got a crop of players who will be returning to you from last year. You got to bring in your own crop of players, but most of these players do not know your system. So we're going to talk about some of the challenges that you've had this particular year, especially when you compare it to when you've taken over programs in the past as a head coach, as a first-year head coach.
I think with the whole COVID situation, it required a lot more patience. You know, normally when you take over a position, you want to show the guys right away the type of work that they have to put in. But there were so many delays with us getting on the court. It was more conversations. So the mental part of the game was discussed, I think, a little bit more in depth than actually getting out and showing it. And I think what happens as, you know, time goes on and you're continuously having these conversations about the work it takes. You're talking about the system and you're trying to have these chalk talks. You know, the players get a little bit anxious and want to actually get on the court and start doing, along with the coaches also. The coaches get anxious. You know, you just want to get on the court and get back to some sense of normal that you're used to. So I think that was the biggest challenge of just not being able to actually do the work that you talked about right away.
All right, Coach. Talked about some of those challenges that you've had due to COVID. What about going out and recruiting, especially for this first year, has been even an additional challenge for you?
Yeah, a very big challenge with recruiting, especially when you're talking about crossing state lines, and there was different guidelines with different states. So a lot of the recruiting, again, it wasn't that personal feel. You had to do a lot over Zoom conferencing and watching a lot of film. And it's hard to get to know a player, maybe that you haven't seen, and you're just watching them in film and you don't get that in-person feel on how big is the kid, how strong is the kid, the type of competition that the student athlete is playing against. So you have to be very calculated with the amount of film that you watch, the conversations that you have with different coaches, whether it's the high school coach or the AAU coach, mentors, guys that work out with them. So you got to do a lot more intel to try to really assess the kid. So that's a very big challenge when you don't get that in-person feel to actually go and watch a kid a couple times and then know the type of competition that they're playing against.
How tough has it been for you to get down your timing and your chemistry?
Well, that's always tough. I'm teaching everyone, so all 15 guys that are on the roster, they have to learn a new system. I'm also teaching coaches that system as well. So it's like really starting everything from scratch. Whereas, other coaches that have their teams that been there a couple of years, at least you have pieces that can help you implement your system. So if you got 6 returners and you got 6 other new guys, those 6 returners are helping the coach teach their system. Whereas this right here, and especially with the whole COVID situation where we couldn't really get on the court right away, I'm teaching 15 guys 15 new ways on how we defend, 15 new ways on the offenses that we're implementing, 15 new ways of what our philosophy is, 15 new ways of instilling your work ethic. So that's just a constant grind of it. But if you're a teacher, it's something that kind of motivates you to find new ways to reach your student athletes. So you got to hone in on your teaching skills and on your communication skills so you can get them to understand as fast as possible our way of doing things.
All right. Last year's team was 9-20, 5-10 in the conference. What do you see as some of your key challenges in flipping that record around from 9-20 to 20-9 on this season?
Yeah. Again, I think it's more just focusing on my style, my philosophy in terms of how we want to defend. I'm really a coach that really hangs my hat on the defensive end. So we've been focusing a lot on the various ways of how we're going to defend this year. We've also been focusing on how to do things the correct way. Individual development is very important. So we're focusing on just developing their overall skill set, but just going about doing things the right way on a daily basis. Just from the time that you get up in the morning to go into your classes, how you communicate with people, just your overall mindset. So what we've been focusing on is just the work, not talking much about last year, just focusing on where we're going as a team, how we're communicating. We talk all the time about having uncomfortable conversations, things that they may not want to hear, or even things that I may not want to hear and have to deal with, so we're trying to get very comfortable being uncomfortable, and right. I think it's been okay so far.
And the cover is not bare as you take this job. Got some players who've got some outstanding accomplishments coming into the season. Bernard LIGHTSEY, your leading scorers returning from last year. Deontay Dunlop, all freshman team. DAEQUAN Williams, CIAA Defensive Player of the Week a couple of times last year. So the cupboard is not bare. Talk about some of those key players who will be returning in the blue and orange for you, and what you're going to expect from them to step up and give you this year.
Right. Well, first of all, I'm grateful that they stuck around and actually gave me a chance. Also, a lot of times when there's a new coaching change, players use that as opportunity to look to go to greener pastures. But there's something special about Lincoln University that these student athletes love, and some of them were on the interview committee, and they kind of picked the coach that had the qualities that they were seeking. So I'm grateful in that. And when I was interviewing with them, I talked about, this is the type of coach that I am in terms of the defense and in terms of putting that work in. So they showed me right away that they want to put this work in. I think that we have some talented players here, and that they were just looking for just a little bit more structure. A coach should be a little bit more demanding on them and hold them accountable. So what I've been seeing from them, they've really shown leadership qualities right away. DAEQUAN Williams is a kid that, he's vocal when he has to be vocal, but he's going to lead by example. ZAHRION Blue is very vocal. He's vocal from the time he walks into the door, from the time he leaves, and he's also putting in that extra work. And these guys are building the culture that we're looking for, with getting up early in the morning, getting in the gym, getting their work in, getting to class on time, doing what they're supposed to do in the classroom, and then coming to work at night, ready to put in, the valuable time that's needed in order to be successful. So I'm very happy with what the returners are showing me right now.
Yeah, and for those of y'all who do not know, DAEQUAN Williams is a walking double-double waiting to happen every time he steps on the court. Last year, he put up 12.6 points and 11.2 rebounds per game. So got a little something to work with, Coach. Just a little bit of something that to work with. But obviously, do coach, do players. Talk about some of those players that you brought in, both on the freshman level and on the transfer level, Coach.
Right. Well, we brought in a point guard. When I looked at the tape, I think that was something that was needed from last year's team, a point guard that can help direct. There was a lot of guys that can score the basketball, but they needed someone there to set the table. So we brought in Corey Williams, who was a junior college All-American. He has the ability to score, get into the paint, to defend, very, very fast with the ball. So we brought him in. Also guys that were in Jazir Noel, who was a combo forward, who was very versatile and talented, from handling the ball, from shooting the ball, from posting up. He can score various ways. He's another one that's very vocal when he needs to be, and can be very explosive. We also brought in another junior college transfer, Isaiah Miles, who's experienced. We expecting him to add some toughness to the team on terms, again, of the defense end as well. So with what we got coming back and the few pieces that we brought in, we think that we can be competitive early.
All right. Now I'm going to ask you some questions about your competition. CIAA, we all know CIAA is the premier conference when it comes to basketball for our HBCUs, and the heck with HBCUs is one of the best basketball conferences around on the Division II level.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you to pick one team in the North, one team in the South. What matchup are you looking most forward to coaching this first year? Pick one team from the North, one team from the South, if you would, please.
It's almost hard just to pick one from each, because
that's why I got to put you on the spot, Coach. Yeah. Hey, you got to draw the play up. You got to know who you gonna get the ball to. So I'll let you draw the play up.
But the thing about it is, you got to prepare for all these teams. I don't care where they finish in the North or the South. You got to be prepared every night to play in this conference. It's almost disrespectful to say, well, I just got to focus on this team, because on any given night, anyone can beat anybody. These are some very knowledgeable coaches in this conference. They all have a passion for the school that they work for. They bring in these dogs, these athletes that can play, and every night's a dog fight. So I'm just looking forward to preparing one game at a time and taking that opponent extremely serious and try to get all the intel as possible to prepare to play these guys, because every team in this conference is very tough.
And I appreciate that, Coach. You're going to make me defend all 5 players on the court. I like how you dodged that question. Very, very good job. All right, so we'll make it a little bit lighter, but kind of along those same lines. Which campuses do you think that you're going to look forward to seeing possibly for the first time, or that you really look forward to seeing this particular year?
Well, it's
just campus in general. We're not talking about basketball, atmosphere, campus, all that.
I've been to a lot of the campuses, but I am looking forward to go to Virginia State, because my brother is an alumni of VSU. And that's, since I got this job, man, all I've been hearing about is Virginia State this, and Virginia State that. So
we're playing for bragging rights at Thanksgiving dinner.
basically. And even the pastor at my church is a Virginia State alum, so she gets on me too. So between my brother and my pastor, they're both on me about the true blue and orange.
All right, so those Trojan fans, it's going to be an interesting matchup in that household there for you, Coach. Taking a look at your schedule, I saw one particular opponent on your non-conference schedule I need to ask you about. Mm-hmm. Bluefield State, the HBCU in Pennsylvania. on the same level as you are. Talk
In,
about, excuse me.
in Virginia, Bluefield in Virginia.
Yeah, I'm talking another non-CIAA opponent, but right there, close to you.
Right.
Talk about what that matchup out of conference, facing another HBCU. Talk about what that means to you there.
Well, it's very. I know Coach Price very well. Actually, when I was at Essex College in New Jersey, I sent one of my players to Coach Price. So I know Coach Price is someone that coaches hard. He gets on his players. He gets his players to play hard. So I just thought that would be just a good test for us right away, because I know what type of coach he is. I know how he pushes his players, and he's done a good job with that program. So, I wanted to play them right away, just to see where we are early in the season, because I know that's going to be a dogfight right away. And they play a lot of the CIAA opponents as well.
Yeah. One other non-conference matchup, looking at your schedule, is traveling to Baltimore, Maryland, play Morgan State Bears. Talk about the step up in the level of competition from the Division II level to the Division I level. And then once again, that HBCU atmosphere going into Baltimore for you guys.
For Morgan State, you mean? Morgan State.
I thought I said Morgan State. If I did, I apologize.
Yeah. Well, again, Morgan State is picked to finish second in the MEAC, so we're not playing any slouches. It's a good test for our guys also, just that level of play, to see can we play at that level. It's on a roll. You're playing a Division I opponent, so right away, on paper, they're supposed to get that win, but what type of fight are we going to have? What type of basketball IQ are we going to use to be able to play? In terms of our off-season program, and the in-season program in the weight room, have we done enough? Can we deal with them physically? So that game is going to give us a lot of intel about where we need to go as a program. From our weight and conditioning program, our style of play. Is it a style of play that can play at a high level? So that's a very important game. That's going to give us a lot of intel about where we need to go forward in our program.
All right, Coach, I'm going to let you be point guard on this fast break. You can distribute this last question how you want to. It's just an opportunity for you to get anything off your chest that you wanted to get off, talk to your fans, talk to your alumni, anything that you want to bring out. The floor is yours, Coach.
No, I'm very happy and blessed with the opportunity that Lincoln University has given to me. Our fans are going to be very happy with the style of play that we play with. They're going to be very happy with how hard our student athletes play. And our guys have been preparing. They understand the importance of representing Lincoln the right way. And I'm just excited to get started, not only for the fans and not only for the alumni, but I'm excited for our guys, our family. It's been a long time since they've got on the court. Seasons ended last year in February and early March. So just the fact that, we're one of the schools that are playing this year, we're excited to be out there. We're blessed to be out there, and we're going to give it everything that we got to be extremely competitive in the CIAA and in the country.
All right, Coach, what can we send a check? Number one. Number two, if I got a 6'11" that can shoot and look like Kevin Durant, how do I get in touch with you? And then number three, how do we follow Lincoln basketball on social media and everywhere else that we need to follow Lincoln basketball?
Well, I'll give you my email address is clowery, LOWERY, @lincoln.edu. You can go on our LU Lions page to find out all the social media intel and, to just follow our page online and you can live stream our games as well, and we'll have all that information regarding social media, Twitter, Instagram. All that information will be on there, be available to you. But my personal email, you got that 6'11" Kevin Durant, please hit me up on my personal email.
and most importantly, if I want to put a check, especially if it's got a comment in it, what do I find that on that same website, Coach?
Yes. Yep. I'll find that on that same website. We'll have all our information there, from our email addresses to our school address, Baltimore Pike, and we will tell you where you can email that or mail that information to us.
PayPal, Cash App, it don't matter. All right, Coach, we appreciate you. Coach Corey Lowery, head men's basketball coach at the original Lincoln University, the Lincoln University Lions of Pennsylvania. Coach, we thank you for your time. I never say good luck on the season, but I'm going to tell you to continue to work hard. And if you continue to work hard, good things will happen to you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Take care. Hail, hail, Lincoln.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loot machine.
Follow the Black College Sports Network on social media at MyBCSN1, the number 1, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at MyBCSN1. Support the Black College Sports Network so we can continue to provide you coverage. Go to myjbn.com/support and be a part of the Black College Sports Network.
Industry was hurting, but I done bandaged her up. Now I got too sick with it. Now we done found us in a pro sound. Look, I be tearing the speakers up and we shaking the whole ground. Found pros in this profession, we calling that profound. Studio in every city, I'm calling that yo town. Some of these words that I'm using make me wanna throw down, but I got humbled in my veins and learned to tone it down. Major league when I'm pitching, I'm needing the pitchers, man. Shake the room with my powers and knocking the pitches down. Trying to teach you business first and put your pitches down. Yo. Major.